First contact deception. The vast emptiness of deep space swallowed the brilliant blue-white flare of the EBS Defiance engines as it glided silently toward the rendezvous point. Captain Alina Reyes stood on the command deck, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic display showing 5 approaching vessels, the diplomatic fleet of the Galactic Confederation. "Status report," she ordered, her voice steady despite the weight of humanity's future resting on her shoulders. Commander Jackson Chen tapped his console before responding. "All systems nominal, Captain. Stealth protocols active. They're seeing exactly what we want them to see." The Defiant was humanity's masterpiece, Earth's first true interstellar battleship. To the approaching alien delegation, it appeared as an impressive but ultimately primitive vessel, befitting a species that had only recently discovered faster-than-light travel. The truth was something else entirely. "They're scanning us," Lieutenant Amara Okafor announced from her tactical station. "Their scans are penetrating our outer hull, but the inner shielding is deflecting them exactly as designed." "Let them see what we want them to see," Rise replied, exchanging a knowing glance with her XO. For the past 18 years, Earth had secretly monitored the Galactic Confederation's communications after discovering their subspace network. What they learned was troubling. The Confederation, comprised of 27 spacefaring civilizations, had a pattern of uplifting newly discovered species, offering minimal technology while systematically stripping their worlds of resources and reducing them to vassal states. Humanity had chosen a different path. The alien shuttle docked with practiced precision. Captain Rice straightened her immaculate blue uniform and walked to the reception area. The delegation that emerged was a study in alien diversity. Ambassador Zixel, a tall, willowy being with iridescent blue skin and elongated features, led the group, followed by representatives from 5 other Confederation species. "Welcome aboard the Defiant," Rice said with a measured smile. "I'm Captain Alina Reyes of the Earth Space Force." Ambassador Zixel's expression was one of poorly disguised condescension. "Greetings, Captain. The Confederation is pleased to welcome humanity to the galactic community. Your vessel is quite impressive for such an early-stage civilization." "Thank you, Ambassador. We're eager to learn from more advanced species." What Zixel couldn't see was the Defiant's true nature beneath its unassuming exterior. Earth had developed technologies that had taken entirely different evolutionary paths than those of the established galactic powers: quantum displacement drives, gravitational manipulation weapons, and dimensional phase shields that Earth scientists had pioneered after decades of secret research. The tour proceeded as planned. The Confederation scientists scanned everything, recording data to be analyzed later. They saw exactly what humans wanted them to see: a spacecraft impressive for a newcomer species, but nowhere near Confederation level. "Your propulsion system is interesting," noted Trelkor, the Confederation's chief scientist, gesturing toward what appeared to be conventional fusion engines. "Quite efficient for such early technology." "We do our best with what we have," Rise replied modestly. What Trelkor couldn't detect was the quantum displacement drive, hidden in the ship's core, shielded by technology derived from Earth's unique approach to multidimensional physics. In the diplomatic reception area, Ambassador Sarah Nakamura engaged with the Confederation representatives, skillfully navigating their subtle attempts to extract commitments and concessions. "We understand the Confederation typically establishes protection agreements with new member species," Nakamura said, her tone respectful but firm. "Earth appreciates the offer, but we prefer mutual defense arrangements rather than protectorates." Zixel's expression hardened slightly. "The galaxy can be dangerous for uninitiated species. Our protection comes with considerable benefits." "I'm sure it does," Nakamura replied with a disarming smile. "We look forward to discussing those benefits in detail." 3 days into the diplomatic mission, the Confederation delegation had completed their assessment of Earth's capabilities. Their encrypted reports, transmitted to the Confederation flagship, painted humanity as technologically promising, but at least 2 centuries away from becoming a significant galactic player. What they didn't know was that every transmission had been intercepted and decoded by the Defiant's quantum intelligence systems. They're recommending a Class 3 integration protocol, Commander Chen reported during the senior staff meeting. Limited technology sharing in exchange for access to our system's resources and cultural exchange programs. Reyes nodded grimly. Just as our intelligence predicted. Within 50 years, Earth would be reduced to managing Confederation mining operations on our own worlds. She turned to her senior staff. It's time. Implement Operation Revelation. Throughout the Defiant, hidden systems activated. In engineering, Chief Engineer Dr. Sofia Rodriguez initiated power transfer from the auxiliary systems to the ship's true heart, the quantum dimensional reactor. When Ambassador Zixel and the delegation arrived for the day's scheduled meeting, they found the Defiant's conference room transformed. Gone were the primitive displays, replaced with fully immersive quantum projection systems. The walls now gleamed with advanced materials unknown to Confederation science. What is the meaning of this? Zixel demanded, composure slipping. Captain Rice smiled. A demonstration, Ambassador. We felt it was time to be more forthcoming about Earth's capabilities. At her gesture, the room's display activated, showing the complete text of the Confederation's secret reports regarding Earth, including their plans for resource extraction and cultural subjugation. How did you? Zixel began, then stopped abruptly as realization dawned. We've been monitoring your secure communications, Rice confirmed. Among other things, one of the Confederation military attaches reached for a concealed weapon, only to find it wouldn't activate. Weapon systems won't function aboard this vessel without our permission, Lieutenant Okafor explained calmly. A simple security precaution. Rice leaned forward. Let's be clear, Ambassador. Earth has no interest in your standard integration protocols. We're already aware of what happened to the Ardani civilization when they declined a similar offer 2 decades ago. The mention of the Ardani, a species whose home system had suffered a mysterious natural disaster after refusing Confederation terms, caused visible discomfort among the delegation. If you're implying, Zixel began. I'm not implying anything, Rides interrupted. I'm stating facts. Earth knows how the Confederation operates. We know about the resource extraction, the manufactured dependencies, the occasional examples made of non-compliant species. Lieutenant Okafor activated another display showing detailed scans of the Confederation vessels, including vulnerability points in their defensive systems that the Confederation had believed were undetectable. The delegation's return to their flagship was hasty and undignified. Emergency transmissions to Confederation homeworlds began immediately, reporting the unexpected development. Aboard the Confederation flagship, Supreme Commander Vrax reviewed the reports with growing alarm. This cannot stand, he declared to his senior staff. If the humans truly possess the technology they claim, they represent a fundamental threat to Confederation authority. Prepare the fleet for combat operations, Vrax ordered. The Defiant is still alone. We will eliminate it, and then proceed to the human homeworld with overwhelming force. Back on the Defiant, Reyes and her command staff observed the Confederation fleet activities through their stealth network. They're charging weapons systems and moving into attack formation, Okafor reported. Looks like they've made their decision. Reyes nodded, unsurprised. Send the signal. Deep within Earth's solar system, a hidden installation activated. Within minutes, space itself seemed to ripple and fold as 12 massive warships emerged from concealed dimensional pockets. These were Earth's true fleet, each vessel as large and powerful as the Defiant, each representing years of secret development. Commander Vrax, Reyes opened a communication channel to the Confederation flagship. I'm detecting unusual power signatures from your vessels. I trust there's no misunderstanding about Earth's peaceful intentions. Vrax's face appeared on the main display, his expression a mixture of anger and calculation. Your deception cannot be tolerated, human. The Confederation has maintained galactic stability for millennia. Upstart species who harbor secret technologies are a threat to that stability. I understand your concern, Rise replied calmly, which is why I've arranged a small demonstration. At that moment, the Confederation's sensors detected the arrival of Earth's hidden fleet, 12 enormous battleships materializing seemingly from nowhere, positioning themselves in a loose formation around the Confederation vessels. Impossible, exclaimed Vrax's tactical officer. Our sensors detect no warp signatures, no jump points. Reyes allowed herself a small smile. The Defiant was never alone, Commander. Earth doesn't build singular flagships. We build fleets. On the tactical display, the Confederation vessels suddenly looked small and vulnerable, surrounded by Earth's massive warships. You should also know, Rise continued, that we've deployed similar battle groups near each of the 7 major Confederation homeworlds. They've been in position for months, gathering intelligence and preparing contingencies. This was Earth's ultimate revelation. They hadn't just built advanced ships, they had mapped the entire Confederation domain and positioned their forces strategically before ever making official contact. This is an act of war, Vrax sputtered. No, Rise corrected. This is deterrence. There will be no war today unless you choose to start one. But be assured, Commander, if you fire upon this vessel or move against Earth, the response will be immediate and decisive. To emphasize the point, each of Earth's battleships activated their main weapon systems, gravitational distortion fields that caused localized warping of space-time around targeted areas of the Confederation vessels. On the Confederation ships, alarms blared as structural integrity fields struggled against forces they weren't designed to counter. What do you want? Vrax finally asked, his voice subdued. What we've always wanted, Rise answered. Peaceful coexistence as equals. Not subjects, not resources to be harvested. Equals. The galaxy's balance of power had just fundamentally changed. The new galactic order. The emergency session of the Galactic Confederation Council was chaos. For the first time in centuries, the 27-member species found themselves facing a situation with no clear precedent. The human revelation had shattered centuries of carefully maintained galactic hierarchy. They must be destroyed immediately, thundered Delegate Kalar of the Voltar Imperium, his scaled skin flushing dark crimson with rage. Their technology violates fundamental Confederation protocols. They've positioned weapons near our homeworlds. With what fleet? Countered Delegate Tella Shen of the Lorian Alliance, her luminescent appendages pulsing with agitation. Our military reports indicate the humans have already deployed at least 24 battleships throughout Confederation space, each one capable of neutralizing an entire battle group without firing a single conventional weapon. The Council Chamber's massive display showed footage from the encounter with the Defiant and its sister ships. The ease with which the human vessels had immobilized the Confederation fleet was disturbing enough, but more concerning were the reports now flooding in from across Confederation space. Human observation platforms had been discovered orbiting strategic installations, monitoring key trade routes, and shadowing military deployments. They've been watching us for years, the Mantari Intelligence Director reported grimly. While we believed they were contained in their home system, they were mapping our entire domain. In the private chambers adjoining the council hall, Elder Nyara of the Lorian Alliance met secretly with representatives from 6 other Confederation species. Unlike the Volters and their hardline allies, these 7 had built their power through trade and diplomacy rather than military might. The humans offer opportunity, not just threat, Nyara observed. Their technology took an entirely different evolutionary path than ours. They've solved problems we've struggled with for centuries. You suggest cooperation with these upstarts? Asked the Zintheri Trade Minister, their crystalline form refracting light in patterns of uncertainty. I suggest survival, Nyara replied bluntly. The age of simply eliminating potential rivals is over. The humans deployed their fleet before revealing themselves. They're already too dispersed to eliminate in one strike. Meanwhile, aboard the Defiant, now positioned near the Confederation's neutral space station, where the emergency session was taking place, Captain Rice and Ambassador Nakamura monitored the Council's deliberations through their intelligence network. "They're splitting into factions," Nakamura observed. 7 species are inclined toward diplomatic engagement, 8 are advocating immediate military action despite the risks, and the rest are undecided, waiting to see which way the power balance shifts. Rice nodded. "As expected, time to present our formal proposal." The Earth delegation's arrival at the Confederation Council chamber caused a hush to fall over the assembled delegates. Captain Rice, Ambassador Nakamura, and 5 other human representatives walked confidently to the central platform. Despite being physically smaller than many of the alien species present, they carried themselves with the quiet assurance of equals. "Esteemed delegates of the Galactic Confederation," Nakamura began, her voice amplified throughout the chamber. "Humanity comes before you today, not as supplicants or aggressors, but as potential partners." Holographic displays activated around the chamber, showing detailed schematics of human technological innovations, quantum communication systems that operated without detectable signals, medical advances that could benefit dozens of Confederation species, and energy generation methods that produced no harmful radiation. "These are but a few of the technologies Earth is prepared to share through legitimate trade and mutual exchange," Nakamura continued. "Not as tribute, not as concessions, but as equal partners in galactic development." The chamber erupted in a mixture of outrage and fascination. Klar of the Voltar Imperium rose to his impressive height. "You dare to dictate terms to the Confederation after your deception, after positioning weapons near our homeworlds," he demanded. Captain Rice stepped forward. "We positioned observers. Delegate Klar, not weapons. Had our intentions been hostile, this conversation would be happening under very different circumstances." She activated another display, showing historical records of previous Confederation integrations, the systematic stripping of resources from newly discovered civilizations, the gradual erosion of their sovereignty, and in 3 documented cases, the complete subjugation of species that had resisted. "We came prepared because history suggested we needed to," Rice stated calmly. "Earth has no desire for conquest or dominion. We seek only to ensure our rightful place as equals in this galactic community." As the debate raged in the council chamber, outside forces were moving. Supreme Commander Vrax had not accepted humanity's demonstration of power. Working with hardliner factions, he had assembled a strike force of 30 warships, positioning them in a nearby nebula, hidden from conventional sensors. Their plan was simple but potentially devastating. A surprise attack on the Defiant while the Earth delegation was in the council chamber, followed by a coordinated strike against Earth itself before the scattered human fleet could respond. What Vrax didn't know was that Earth's quantum intelligence systems had detected the hidden fleet the moment it began to assemble. In the council chamber, Captain Rice received a subtle alert on her neural implant. She maintained her composed expression as she continued addressing the delegates, but her mind was already analyzing tactical options. Through secured quantum channels, she issued encoded commands to the hidden human fleet. 12 Earth battleships silently repositioned, surrounding Vrax's strike force without alerting them to their presence. As the council debate reached its peak, with the moderate factions gaining support for a proposal of conditional cooperation with humanity, Vrax gave the order to attack. His fleet surged from the nebula, weapons charge, on an intercept course with the Defiant. They found themselves surrounded. On the Confederation Council's main display, the tactical situation unfolded in real time. Vrax's ambush had turned into a trap, his 30 warships completely encircled by 12 human battleships, each one locking gravitational distortion fields on multiple targets. "This emergency session will recess for 1 hour," announced the council elder, her voice trembling slightly. In the private negotiation chamber, Captain Rice faced the delegation of moderate Confederation species led by Elder Nara. "You knew about Vrax's plan all along," Nara stated, Not a question, but a realization. We did, Rise confirmed. Just as we know about the Voltar Imperium's secret biological weapons program and the Xanthari mining operations in prohibited systems. Nyara's luminescent appendages pulsed with what humans had learned to recognize as rueful amusement. It seems we have underestimated your species in every possible way, Captain. A common mistake when encountering something new, Rise replied with a slight smile. One we humans have made ourselves throughout our history. What happens now? Asked the Xanthari minister. That depends on the Confederation, Rise answered. Commander Vrax and his fleet remain unharmed, though unable to maneuver. We can maintain this standoff indefinitely, or we can begin a new chapter in galactic relations. When the Council reconvened, the political landscape had shifted dramatically. With the hardliners' military option neutralized and the moderate factions emboldened by human restraint, a new proposal was put forward, the Galactic Concordat. The terms were revolutionary by Confederation standards: mutual non-aggression, technological exchange based on fair trade rather than tributary relationships, recognition of sovereign rights for all spacefaring civilizations, and a fundamental restructuring of the Confederation into a more equitable alliance. This is capitulation. Kalar protested, but his words carried less weight now, with Vrax's fleet still held immobile by human technology. This is evolution, countered Elder Naira. Our civilization has grown stagnant, predatory. The humans have shown us both our vulnerability and a path forward. The vote was closer than human intelligence had predicted, but the outcome was clear. The Concordat passed by a narrow margin. As Captain Rice and Ambassador Nakamura prepared to formalize Earth's succession to the new galactic order, Commander Vrax made one last desperate move. Having secretly transferred to a stealth fighter during the negotiations, Vrax attempted to assassinate the Earth delegation, firing a concentrated plasma burst toward the Council platform. The beam never reached its target. Lieutenant Okafor, positioned discreetly among the Earth security detail, activated a personal phage shield that absorbed the blast completely. Before Confederation security could react, Earth operatives had neutralized Vrax and secured the chamber. Captain Rice stood calmly, brushing an imaginary speck from her uniform, as silence fell over the stunned council. I believe we were about to sign the Concordat, she said, as if nothing had happened. 3 months later, the transformation of galactic politics was well underway. The former Confederation, now restructured as the Galactic Alliance, had begun the difficult process of reforming centuries of exploitative practices. Not all species were pleased with the new order, but the presence of human battleships, now openly patrolling key systems, ensured compliance with the Concordat's terms. Aboard the Defiant, now serving as Earth's embassy to the Alliance, Captain Rice reviewed reports from across known space with Ambassador Nakamura. The Volters are still being difficult, Nakamura noted, but the trade agreements with the Lorians and Xanthari are exceeding expectations. Their scientists are already collaborating with ours on quantum communication improvements. Rice nodded, looking out at the vast expanse of stars visible through the observation dome. And what of the Ardini Restoration Project? Ahead of schedule, Nakamura replied with satisfaction. With our technological assistance, their homeworld should be habitable again within 5 years. A comfortable silence fell between them as they contemplated how far humanity had come, from being targeted for exploitation to reshaping the galaxy's power structure in a matter of months. Do you ever wonder if we did the right thing? Nakamura asked quietly, coming in with such overwhelming force. Rice considered the question. History suggests that new powers either enter the stage as equals or as subjects. We chose to be equals, she smiled slightly. Besides, we didn't fire a single shot. The best kind of victory, Nakamura agreed. Beyond the Defiant's viewports, the galaxy continued its eternal dance, but with a new partner now taking its rightful place among the stars. Humanity, neither conqueror nor conquered, but an architect of a new galactic order.